Hello, it's good to see you. Today we're going to be making something I think is going to be really yummy. I'm looking forward to trying this. We're going to be making cinnamon chip scones, and there's a recipe on the back of this package. I had to buy some of these for another recipe that we did, and I ended up with 3 bags because I could get 3 for the same price as 2, and 2 wasn't much more than 1 anyway. I have 2 bags of these chips. We're going to use a bag here to make some cinnamon chip scones. So that's going to be really cool. The recipe is right on the back of the package. They're called Easy Cinnamon Chip Scones. And the picture's really tiny, but they actually look really good. I've never made scones before, so this is new for me. And I'll either put a link to this in the description or I'll type it up. It may be on their website, Hershey'sKitchens.com. But you need 3 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, half a cup of granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 10-ounce package of Hershey's cinnamon chips, half a cup of chopped toasted walnuts, which I just toasted. I used my little pan that I found at Aldi, and I just put some walnuts in there, chopped walnuts. They smell really good. They taste good too. I already ate some, but we only need a half a cup of those. I just poured a bunch of them in there and toasted them. We also need 2 cups of chilled whipping cream, 2 tablespoons of butter melted, which I've already done. And then additional granulated sugar, which is optional, and powdered sugar, which is also optional. I'm not going to do the powdered sugar. I would, but I forgot to get any. I was going to do it and I forgot to buy it. Okay, so we're going to get everything together. The first thing you have to do is heat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit and lightly grease 2 baking sheets. And the next step, we're going to stir together the flour, the sugar, the baking powder, and the salt in a large bowl and go from there. So let's get started. So for this recipe, we don't have a lot of ingredients. This looks pretty simple, although I was just reading here, I'm supposed to have a triangle cutter. I don't have a triangle cutter, so I'm just going to have to cut it out manually, I guess. You're supposed to cut the dough into triangles. I'm also supposed to have a rolling pin, and don't tell all my dead ancestors, but I don't actually own a rolling pin. I do have one, but it's a specialty rolling pin with cutouts in it. We're going to try it. I mean, it'll make it flat, so I guess that's good enough. Okay, so we have our flour here, our sugar here. It's a little lumpy, but I think it's okay. You're also going to need baking powder. Got that here. Salt. I just put it in this little cup. We're also going to need the cinnamon chips. These are so good. They're really hard to find around here. I had to order them on Amazon. Nobody around here had them. But that's the entire 10-ounce package minus 1 chip because I ate one. The entire package minus 1 of the cinnamon chips. You also need a half a cup of chopped toasted walnuts, 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, chilled, 2 tablespoons of melted butter. I need to melt it again because it just congealed apparently. It was melted a minute ago. And then the powdered sugar. The powdered sugar is optional, but I forgot to get any, so we're not going to do that. Okay, now let's see. Let me move this stuff aside. You can melt that butter again just a second. Okay, I just popped it in the microwave for 5 seconds, and it's fine. So let's move these things out of the way, and we'll get ready to mix the first ingredients. Just slide these over. And I have my mother's big old Tupperware bowl. This bowl is probably 40 years old. It's almost as old as I am. She used to use this to make biscuits when I was a kid. She would put flour in here. She would keep her flour in here. and it had a lid. And then she would just take her fist and make a little hole in the flour and pour buttermilk or sweet milk, either one, in here, and a little bit of oil, and that's it. And then she would take a butter knife and just go around the edges and make little circles and incorporate, just kind of mix the flour in a little bit at a time until she had just a lump of dough in the middle, and that's what she made her biscuits with. That's all she had in them, just flour, oil, and milk, and that was it. She didn't use shortening or anything like that. Very simple recipe. She didn't measure anything, nothing. She didn't use a cutter. She would just roll them in her hands and mash them and stick them in the pan. All right, now first thing we're going to do, these instructions are tiny, and the crease right here makes them kind of hard to read, but we'll get through it. So we're going to need the flour and the sugar and the baking powder and salt into this bowl. So we have 3 1/4 cups of flour. That's a lot of flour. Look at that. 3 1/4 cups of flour. Make sure 1/2 cup of sugar. Okay. 1/2 cup of sugar. Baking powder. Now the baking powder. For the baking powder, we're going to need 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of that. I have these here. So we're going to do 1 tablespoon first. 1 tablespoon. And then a teaspoon. There. So that's all the baking powder. Flour, sugar, baking powder, and salt. And here's the salt. I'm just going to lightly sprinkle that over. Now before we do anything else, we're going to take our whisk and mix all of this together. See how it all just falls in between the pieces of the whisk? Okay. That's that. Okay. Then we're going to add the cinnamon chips and the walnuts and mix well. So here are the cinnamon chips. These things are so delicious. Look how they just fall in there. They look like rabbit balls. And 1/2 cup of toasted walnuts. I think this is my new favorite snack. I just ate probably 1/2 cup of these toasted chopped walnuts. They are so good. Toasting them makes them taste extra good. I don't think I've ever had toasted walnuts before. I don't know if a whisk will work on this. Oh yeah. Going to make a huge batch. Look at all this. Okay, I think that's mixed well. Now we're going to go to step number 3. We're going to stir in the whipping cream into this mixture, stirring just until the ingredients are moistened. What about the butter? Did I miss the butter? Hang on a minute. This doesn't say anything about the butter. I'm going to have to look at this because it doesn't mention the butter anywhere in this recipe. Hold on a minute. I just went and looked this up on my phone. This makes sense. I think the recipe on the back of the bag of chips, I think, it was kind of creased there. I think a whole step was cut out, and I'm really glad I looked this up because, yeah, I think part of this didn't show on the back. I might have missed something important. So the butter actually, it says here that once we get them all mixed up and cut into triangles, we're going to brush them with this melted butter. And that is when you sprinkle on the additional granulated sugar or powdered sugar. Oh, no, the powdered sugar you add after they're baked. So we don't actually need that right now, but we do need to add the heavy cream. So I have a spoon that I thought might work for that. 2 whole cups of heavy cream. I don't think you're supposed to stir it a lot. I hope that videos like this will give you the confidence to try to make something. Because I will tell you, I am not a professional at all, in case you couldn't tell. If I can do it, you can do it. I promise you can. Don't let those wannabe celebrity chefs intimidate you. You can do it. Stuff is hard to stir. I don't want to overmix it, but there's a lot of dry stuff down here. I may have to get in there with my hands and do it. That's what she said. We have to remember this isn't for kids, y'all. Why do you think I wore my shirt? I don't have anywhere to put this. I'll put it there. My hands are clean. Like, I think I'm just gonna have to get in here and kind of get at it. Just mix it. Oh, it feels like Play-Doh. Ooh. And hey, if they taste bad, it won't matter because I'm taking these to work anyway. I'm going to give them away at work. I'm not going to eat them. Let my kids try them. If they like them, I'll keep some here. Okay, I think that's fine. That's good enough. All right, now what we have to do with this ball, we have to divided up into 3 parts, and I have to go clean my hands and find my rolling pin. And we need a lightly floured surface to roll out the 3 parts in on. And again, I don't have a cookie cutter, a triangle cookie cutter. I'm just going to use a knife and do it. I mean, as long as it ends up in a triangle shape, I don't think it matters how you do it. So I'm going to go clean my hands, get my rolling pin. It's a fancy one, but it should flatten it good. So let me do that and get everything ready to put the divided sections on. All right, I have prepared a lightly floured surface. I just took some wax paper, 2 pieces, and just put it here on the table. Still have my big wad of dough here. And here's my rolling pin. Isn't this cool? It has little cutouts in it. This is cut out. But, I mean, it'll still work to flatten them out if needed. That's the only rolling pin I have. Okay, now the instructions tell me that I need to turn the dough out onto this lightly floured surface and then knead it gently until a soft dough forms, about 2 minutes. And that's when we're going to divide it into 3 parts. Turn it out. It's just going to belly flop out of this bowl or stick to the bottom of it. There. Well, there we have it. I don't think I have kneaded dough in probably 30 years. Let me slide it over a little bit. That's a little better. Kneading dough. Don't you do it like this? Like push on it, turn it, push on it. It's really hard. The little chips keep falling out. And the walnuts keep sticking to the paper. I floured it, but maybe I didn't flour it enough. I said to lightly flour it, which is what I did. Get off. I have a gob of this stuff. Now I'm supposed to take this amorphous thing here and turn it into three parts. Oops. Sticky. That's a lot. 3 parts, huh? I'm just going to take a butter knife and just, I don't know. Just cut it. Okay. Now I only want to work with one of these at a time. So I'm going to wad them up. Make a ball and set them back in the bowl. We're just going to work with one first. Okay, now the third one. wanted a little more flour. I'm trying to make it into a ball. It's close enough. Okay. Now let me see what I'm supposed to... I think I'm supposed to flatten it. We're going to flatten it, I believe, and then cut it. Let me look. Normally I have my instructions printed out. Okay, one ball at a time, flatten into a 7-inch circle. We're going to flatten this into a 7-inch circle. I don't even know that I'll need the rolling pin. I can just press it like this into a 7-inch circle. And out of that circle, we're going to cut 8 triangles, give or take. Is that close? I don't know. So you're supposed to be able to get 8 triangles out of here? Now there's probably a great technique for doing that, but I don't know it. So I'm just going to do... What if you just do this? We'll see how many we get. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I might be able to make them bigger. 5. It's kind of a triangle. Yeah, I believe I can make these bigger. 6. Okay, so these are going to be a little small. 7. I don't care. 8. Okay, lesson learned on this ball. You can actually make them larger. We're going to end up with 10. There's 1. So that's 9. I could just put them all back together and cut them out again, but I'm not going to, because I don't want to. Press. And I'm just going to make a little triangle out of that. There. And I'll just add these to one of the other dough balls. Okay, there's that. Now what we have to do, when you get them to this stage, you're going to put them on your cookie sheet. You're supposed to have 2 cookie sheets. I will admit I only have 1 cookie sheet. So I'm just going to use it twice. I'm going to do 1 batch and then I'm going to cook another batch. You take these little guys here. That is a really horrible triangle. Don't tell my geometry teacher. He'll be disappointed. So you take your little dudes here, and we're going to put them on there, and then we'll cut out some more and get those on there too. So I'm going to go grab my cookie sheet. Here we have a cookie sheet. Now this is lightly greased. It said to just grease it lightly. I just took a paper towel and just kind of spread a little bit of vegetable oil all over it. I don't know how far apart these are supposed to be. I don't know, honestly. What if we just do 4 this way? Because I'm not sure how much they're going to... They're probably going to expand quite a bit. But these are small, so I'm not really that worried about those. But we'll still give them a whole row. And then we'll put a couple up here. Now what you do, you take... This is where the butter comes in. So you have your melted butter and a little pastry brush. I'm stirring it up because it's settled a little bit. You take your butter and you just brush it across the top of these. Just put a little layer of butter on there. And then we're going to get a little bit of granulated sugar and sprinkle it on top of that butter. So I'm going to grab the sugar and we're going to sprinkle it on there. I have my container of lumpy sugar. I know, I need to work on it. It's not old, it's gotten really lumpy. I need a better container, I believe. So I'm just going to reach in here. My hands are 100% clean, and this, I may not be able to redeem this sugar anyway. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this, sprinkle it right on the top. And again, it says that after they're baked, you can add powdered sugar to the top also. But I forgot to get powdered sugar and I don't have any, so I will not be doing that. But that is an option if you're making these. You can, after they're done, you can put powdered sugar on top. Oops. Little lumps of sugar. Oh, it's windy outside. All of a sudden, this big gust of wind came up out of nowhere. So I'm going to bake these in the oven at 375 until golden brown. But we can go ahead and do a little bit more of this dough if you want to. I'm going to move that little brush out of the way. I'll just set that aside. Let's grab another lump of that dough. I want to cut some more. Now they won't fit on that sheet, but we can get it ready for the next batch. I may have to do 3 batches on that cookie sheet because it's not a big cookie sheet. I need to get some more. Right now, that's the only one I have. So let's press it out. 7-inch circle, it said. Oh, I forgot to incorporate, well, I'll add it to the other ball. Okay, it's like a little cookie pizza. Now these triangles can be bigger than the ones I did before. You know what you do? Why didn't I think of this? Look, cut it like a pizza. Have mercy. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. This one I messed up. I'll do this one separately. Well, I could just make them like little pizzas. Just do them like that. Like little pizza slices. A little chip trying to escape. Boy, don't you know these things are going to be good. It's one good thing about working in an office. If you ever have food you want to get rid of, take it and put it in the break room. Somebody will eat it. It always gets eaten. It's never wasted. Well, now it's not in the shape I wanted it to be in. Here, just make a square and cut it diagonally. It's technically a triangle. Don't judge me. I'm going to just stack these over here. And we can do that third ball while we're at it. Now I need to remember to add, y'all stop, little avalanche. Stay still. Take these slices and just mush them in there. A little more flour on there. Okay. I like learning new things. I've never done this before. This is pretty great. I'm looking forward to trying one. I haven't eaten a scone, I bet, in 15 years. I mean, you can get them here. It's not that they're not available. I could drive 5 minutes from my house and go get a scone. It's not that they're not available. I don't know. I haven't thought to get one. It was funny when I moved up to Illinois for a year. You wouldn't believe the number of people who assumed that I grew up in like the little Abner cartoon with no running water and no power, and it was amazing the number of people who just assumed that that's the environment that I came to Illinois from. They were surprised to know that I knew how to use computers and I knew how to do things on the internet, and I'm not kidding, there were people who were genuinely surprised that we have flush toilets and everything down here. And it was funny too, we have about 10 million people in North Carolina, but I would meet people all the time and they would say, "Oh, you're from North Carolina? Oh, wow. Hey, I know a guy from North Carolina. His name is John. Do you know him?" Oh, yeah, sure. There are only like 5 people in the whole state. Of course I know John. Everybody knows John. Duh. That happened to me multiple times. It blew my mind. Now, mind you, the town I was living in would have fit in one of the Walmart parking lots here in Greensboro. So it was, I don't know, it was just funny to me. That has absolutely nothing to do with scones. I'm sorry. But anyway, now a lot of people just assume that since I'm from the South, we don't have anything here, and we're all the same, and it's just funny. Okay, so these are going to get the same treatment as these little triangles. Now I did brush them with butter and add granulated sugar to the top. So I'm going to bake these at 375 until they're nice and puffy and golden brown, and then we're going to try one. I'm looking forward to it. Ooh, aren't they pretty? Look how they turned out. They didn't stick too bad. They're okay. They look like fat chocolate chip triangle cookies or something. They're nice and hot. I just took these out of the oven. They're beautiful. I just wonder what they're like on the inside. Look at that. It's kind of crispy, kind of on the outside. Of course, we have that butter and sugar on the top. What if we kind of broke it open? I wonder what it would look like. Ooh, look at those cinnamon chips. It kind of turns it sort of a reddish brown. That looks great. So let's try it and see what it tastes like. Okay, so we have the first batch of scones done. Look at that lovely little triangle. Oh, and you can't really see it, but the sugar just kind of glistens on top. That's pretty. I'm going to take this piece that we broke off here. Oh, it smells so good. It just smells like cinnamon. Look at that. That's not bad. That's it's not super sweet. It's a scone. It tastes like a scone. It's not hard. It's very nice. Oh, that is very nice. I think a little bit of powdered sugar on top would be a nice touch. It would add just a little bit more sweetness to it. I think it kind of needs that. Or if you don't like the sweetness, leave it off. Look at that. It's so pretty. Oops. So I'm going to have a batch of 24 of these yummy little cinnamon scones. The cinnamon chips are just perfect. They're just perfect in here. This is totally unrelated, but I wanted to show you something. I went to my dad's house yesterday in Virginia. He lives in the mountains. And we have adopted a cat from there. We went to get him last night. And he gave me this. I know, some of you might know what this is. He made several of these to give away. So it's just a stick of wood with a piece of rope on the end of it. And this is a walnut shell that has been, bored a hole in it, screwed it down into the piece of wood. It's a hillbilly back scratcher. Like, it has a rough texture to it. And it works great, actually. Just like that. I don't know what to do with it, but he just thought I might like to have it. So. Hillbilly back scratcher. I thought it was cute. Anyway, thought I would show it to you. So anyway, yeah, we made cinnamon scones. And it was so easy. It was very simple. I didn't need a cookie cutter after all. I just cut it like a pizza. I don't know why I didn't think of that with the first one, but I figured it out. So yeah, I would definitely try these if you can get some of these cinnamon chips. If you can't find them in your area, I couldn't. They do have them on Amazon. Yeah, so you can get them. It's more expensive that way. It's better if you can find them in the store, but nobody around here had them. Like, nobody. So anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoy it and that you have a great day. I'll see you again soon.